Hey everybody, here's Mrs. Blash with your first at-home learning lecture. We are still on Unit 3. We are talking about long-run aggregate supply. This is lecture 3.4. So this is the only one I'm going to probably post today. If you'd like, just watch, take notes, and do the interactive component. As a reminder, the homework was to watch Crash Course 14, 8, and 9 and do notes, and to do workbook pages 99 to 100. As of right now, that's still all that I'm asking for you to do. If there is more, I will let you know. So we're talking about the long run aggregate supply curve. We've already learned about the short run aggregate supply curve. The short run, remember, is just the typical upward sloping supply curve, except for with the aggregate, we're talking about all the goods and services produced by suppliers and available at different quantities. Okay, there is a difference between short run and long run. Remember, in the short run, wages and resource prices are sticky and they're not going to change when the price level changes. But in the long run, they're flexible. Think about it. We talked before about there being lag time with wages and resource price changes. And because of that, in the short run, an increase in price level isn't going to result in changes in resources or wages. But in the long run, those will adjust and they will catch up to the increased prices. So let's just look at this simplified example real quick. If a firm currently is making 100 units that are sold for $1 each and the cost of labor is $80, how much is the profit? So really simple, 1 times 100 is $100 minus the cost of labor, 80. So the profit there is $20. So, but what happens if the profit in the short run if the price is double? Well, that means instead of $1, we're going to increase that to $2. So 2 times 100, we now have a total revenue of $200. That's the TR, total revenue. So 200 minus the same amount of labor, 80, because that hasn't changed yet. Our new profit is 120. How would you like to make $120 profit versus 20? You'd probably really like that. So you'd have an incentive to make more. Now, in the long run, guess what's going to happen? These labor prices are going to increase as a response, in response to the increased price increase. So if labor then starts to match, if wages start to match the higher price level, that's going to double. So now we have our profit of 200 minus 160. Our profit now is $40. Guess what? Firms don't have an incentive to produce more since the real profit is actually the same at this point. All right, here is our long run aggregate supply curve. So if you notice, we have price level here, GDPR. Here is our LRAS. It's a vertical line. This is quantity sub Y. So this means that we're at full employment here. We're going to assume that in the long run, the economy is going to be producing at full employment. Now, we've already talked about the shifters of aggregate demand. Those are easy. It's the same components as GDP, CIGXN. We've also talked about the shifters of the short-run aggregate supply. Again, even easier than regular supply because there's only 3 of them, RAP, resources, actions of the government, and productivity, specifically changes in technology. For LRAS, we can see that there's going to be a permanent change in the production possibilities of the economy that can either shift the LRAS to the right, which would be an increase, or shift it to the left, which would be a decrease. Guess what? If you aren't thinking, ooh, PPC, when you hear this, then you aren't thinking. Guess what? The shifters of LRAS, they are the same as the shifters of PPC. As soon as I say shifters of PPC, I hope in your head you're already saying RTT shifts the PPC. RTT shifts the PPC. So changes in resource quantity or quality, changes in technology, and our third one, which isn't going to be listed, is going to be trade. So the changes of the PPC that we already learned about are also the changes in the LRAS. So this is actually pretty interesting. We keep on talking about how a lot of these models, a lot of these graphs are showing us similar things. They're telling us similar stories. Well, there's a reason for that. They're impacted by the same thing. They're showing us different ways to look at, measure, and analyze what's happening in the economy. So we know if this is our production possibilities and there's an increase in availability of resources, that we're going to be able to produce more. If we can produce more, then our long run aggregate supply curve is also going to shift to the right. All right, there we go. So let's take a look. We're going to do a couple of practice questions. Make sure that you take a moment, pause, and read all the options before you see the answer so that you have an opportunity to really test your knowledge. So an advance in technology will cause the. So I already know that technology has an impact on the SRAS, the LRAS, and the PPC. If it is an advancement means that it's going to increase our ability to produce, which means that it's going to be a shift to the right. I know that it's supply and not demand, so I'm automatically going to rule out A and B. So if I look at C, a shift to the left means that there would be a decrease, less ability to produce. So that doesn't seem like it'd be the right answer. Same with D. It looks like the best answer, bingo, is E. All right. So I think that is it for our lecture on LRAS. I will post more information and assignments every single morning. And then I will also have some opportunities for us to meet. If I can get all of you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be really helpful, because if I get 100 subscribers and I only have 33 right now, guess what? I can go live on YouTube, which is a lot easier. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care of yourselves and be looking for updates. Bye. Give me 1 second. I got to stop it. And